Hello. Hold on, I have to get to the YouTube. Okay, I just want to explain really quick because it was like causing me a lot of aggravation today. I told you guys I was going to put all the calls up. There are 96 jail calls that were released to me. Okay, I just want to explain. And I wasn't sure which ones we've heard, which ones we didn't because of the way that they labeled them. They labeled them really crazy. They weren't like in month or anyway. That was, they had these huge, just long numbers. A lot of them began with the same things. So they were really hard to differentiate. And what I thought I was going to do was import all 6 into my video editing software. Since it's 96, my brain just did it automatically. It would be 8 videos of 12 calls each. So I did that 12. I just picked from the top 12, put them in and put out 1. Then the next day I went in and I could see where I left off. I grabbed the next 12, put them in. Today, when I went to go get the third batch of 12 and put it in, and then the video, oh, I'm echoing. Oh my gosh, hold on a minute. And I could see where I left. Better? Better? Can you hear me now? Okay, now you can hear me. Do I need to go through that whole thing again? Was it really, really bad? Did you not understand what I said so far? Hi, Stacy. Hi, Kathleen. Hi, Denise. Hi, Twisted. Hi, Scooter. Hi, Julie. Hi, Razzie. Okay, but did you hear what I said up to this point, or do I have to go through that again? Let me know. Can I continue? You couldn't understand what I said? I heard you. You did say, okay. So when I went to make the third part today, hi, little Long Island girl. When I meant to make the third part today, when I put it in, okay, it worked fine. But then, hi, Uncriminy, and oh, you said you sent me a Cash App. And I meant to go look on that. Thank you so much. I will grab that, and I'm very appreciative. Thank you. So here's what I tried to, hi, MSL, tried to do the third part, and it was playing all choppy. And I said, okay, well, now this is crazy. I said, I'm going to have to start another project, but the way I imported that into my video software program, right, it's 96 files. All I did was go to the top and then hit the shift key, go all the way to the bottom, and move them all over. So I thought they would go in the exact same order. Well, when I went to do the third set of 12, I had seen them before because they were in there. They were just choppy, right? So where it ended, it was like an hour and 45 minutes. Where I grabbed them in the same place, it was like 2 hours and something. So I said, oh, you've got to be kidding me. What's going on? And then I said, well, okay, maybe it reversed it. Maybe what was on the bottom is the top. I tried everything. Then I went back to the pieces 1 and 2 to see if I could find, it had to be, I said, 1 on the top or 1 on the bottom that matches the beginning of that. Would you believe it? It didn't. Somehow it messed up all 96 files. So then after I took a 7-mile bike ride, almost 7 miles, and I shouldn't say 7 miles, it was like 6, it wasn't quite 7 miles, almost. And Linda was on the phone with me through the entire time, and she can vouch for it. I got, I guess, enough dopamine or whatever, and I said, look, you just got to do this again. And the worst part of doing it again was trying to explain to you all what I'm doing. Like, you must be like, Carolyn, why is there all the calls part 1 and 2, and now you're all the calls volume 1? Well, I got so fed up when I got back from my bike ride that I took the 96 files and put 12 in a new file, said volume 1. I put 12 in another file and put volume 2. So now, I just wanted to do Scooter. I just have to explain this so everybody knows what I'm doing. Tonight, I put up volume 1. Tomorrow afternoon, I'll put up volume 2, which will be 12 more calls. Next day, it'll be 12 more calls, volume 3. That way, it's all broken up already. I'm not going to have to worry about them switching around, okay? So if you're wondering about the calls, I just want to make sure I am like very OCD, and I don't want you to miss a call. I don't want to miss a call. The way they are, it's crazy. So I want to make sure all 96 files are up. And now I know 96 files are up. They are up. They will be up. They're not up now. They will be up in 8 different volumes. So now I'm calling them volumes instead of parts. Okay? And I hope everybody understands, and I'm really sorry about it. I hate that it's like convoluted, but I want you to have the material. Then you guys say, like, what are we going to do after these texts are done? Well, there's a lot of other texts to read, but then, oh boy, you can't believe the stuff I found today in my discovery. So we have a lot to go over, so don't worry. Okay, Debbie says, let's talk. Okay, thank you, Kathleen, for becoming a deputy rambler. Thank you so much. And Kathleen, thank you for always helping out in the chat. Appreciate that. All right, so if you're brand new, without further ado, we're going to get to the text. Dom is blue in the bubble. Kenzie is in the green bubble. We are on page 20. What are we? Hold on a minute. I need my glasses. 28,820. And the date is April 7th, 2022. Okay? So let's go. You can hear me well now? You got kicked off. Well, you can't now. You're a deputy rambler. You're one of us. You can't get kicked off. Scooter, get right to the bottom of why she was kicked off. I did 3/4 of a mile. I would call it 7. Or you did 3/4. Yeah, I don't know. It was really nice today, and we're not going to have a lot of nice. I don't want to even say that the cold word, so we're not going to go there with the weather. Okay. Okay. Everybody's good. Good. So we're starting here with this green one. Oh, let me make myself a postage stamp so you can see everything. Hold on. Let me make sure you can see now. I want you to see the text. I go to a postage stamp. Okay, let's see. I just want to make sure. I have to look at my screen because there's a little lag. Okay, good. So we're starting with the green. So am I hallucinating, or did you send me that message? Kenzie says. Then Kenzie says, I'm still confused because there's no way. Dom says, what message? The one I just sent? And you can't bring up things from the past as a reason to be mean to me now. That's going to make our relationship super toxic for real. Might as well break up. She says, last month isn't really the past, big guy. She also says, I mean, break up with me. I don't really care. I'm going to Florida no matter what. You say it in the past, but you just cheated on me last month with one of my friends. I'm going to have a big, great life. Yeah, you're going to be in the big house. I don't know if it's the big house you planned on. I don't think so, but you will be in the big house. She's going to have a big, great life, and you can either be in it or not. And if you're not going to treat me with respect and like the goddess I am, then I don't want you to be part of my life. And then she says, I'm going to give you 5 minutes to reply or you're single. And then she says, okay, we done. You just effed up. I can't stand the way she talks. Okay. He says, my phone died. She says, you seriously need help. He says, Kenzie, I'm going to have an amazing life guaranteed. I need a strong female by my side that won't break up with me every day. You can treat me like a god, because I am a god and I'll treat you like the goddess you are. But please, you can't be calling me like that and then break up with me over it. That is not it, for real. She says, why are you just repeating everything I say? You are literally delusional. Why are you trying to act like you're spiritual as F? Like you are literally a vibrating low as F. He says, you say the meanest things, and I don't think people will react. She says, no, he says, you say the meanest things and don't think people will react, and it's terrible. She says, I try to help you, but you can't help it. He says, now how you talk to your family is very low vibration. How you talk to your mom, especially, he says, I feel bad for her, for real. Kenzie says, I don't talk to my family, so that's not really a problem. So, are you single, or are you going to fix this problem? He says, like this whole argument came out of you talking smart to me, like you have to ditch that shite, Kenzie. She says, and I feel bad for your mom. All her kids are effing drug addicts with anger issues. We can play that game. He says, I talked smart back. I'm sorry. She said, no, it's okay. Now we're going to play this game since you want to bring up my family. You're not sorry. You're just going to do this again in a little bit. He says, I said you talk bad to your family. I didn't say anything mean about your family. She says, yeah, I feel so bad for your mom. I feel so bad for her. He said, not, you're trying to talk mean about my family, low vibration. She says, no, I'm just saying I feel bad for your mom because all her children are drug addicts. Clearly, you just lie your way into changing and getting me back into your life like you haven't changed in like a year. I'm a new person every single week, and you are the same old you. He says, don't talk about my brother. She says, if anything, you're repeating back to your old self. And then she said, so are you going to be able to treat me like the goddess I am? Or are you going to keep being like this? If you're going to keep being like this, then you can be single. And she said, clearly you don't care how I feel. And I didn't even give you attitude this morning. I just asked you if you wanted me to go to Beechwood. And clearly you're stressed out and decided to take it out on me. He says, how, Kenzie? That's you. And you have barely changed at all. She said, I'm going to give you one last chance. Otherwise, I'm going to have to block you. She sounds like that talking Tina doll from the Twilight Zone. I'm going to give you one last chance, and then I'm going to have to block you. Crazy. He says, no, Kenzie, you asked if you wanted to go to Beechwood, and I said, I'm at the doctor's, and you said something like, I didn't ask that. I asked you if you wanted to go to Beechwood, and that's mean. I told you earlier, wait until I'm back and I'll let you know. She says, yeah, I wasn't talking about going to Beechwood right that second, but clearly you couldn't comprehend that. Then she says, because obviously you just went to the doctor, so why the F would I be asking you to go right now? That honestly is very dumb of you to think that. But so I'm going to give you your second last chance, his second last chance. He had his first last chance. He's on his second last chance. Oh my gosh. I'm going to give you one more last chance. Second last chance to fix this. I'll give you 3 last chances. Then there is a effing problem. My gosh, she's crazy, isn't she? He says, you couldn't just acknowledge that I'd let you know when I'm back. You could have just said, okay, hit me up when you're back. She says, so what's it going to be? I really don't want to have to give you your third, oh my gosh, less chance already. Mackenzie, do you realize how stupid you sound? You're trying to, she can't even give an ultimatum properly, right? She's giving him, she's drawing a line in the sand, but she's already telling him he has all these, he's other chances. Unbelievable. Kenzie, you're causing the problem and I'm fixing them. Just remember that. So what's it going to be? As you should, she says. He says, as long as you acknowledge it. She says, because I don't owe you anything. You just cheated on me last month. With you is enough. I shouldn't even be cleaning your house. So what's it going to be? So what's it going to effing biatch? Is this your last chance that you're actually using already? B, she said. He said, being with me is a blessing and you know it. She goes, wow, am I blocking you right now? He says, I have not met a single man in my life that can do what I do. She said, because you clearly have not answered any of my 15 messages that I have sent you. He says, not one, single one. And then he says, what you want me to do to fix it? She says, after all these years, you still have to ask that question. That is so sad, proving no change. And he says, I understand you want me to treat you better. She says, no, clearly you don't, because you treat me better for like 3 days and then you start being a piece of shite again. He says, how about this? She says, you're done being a D to me. You're done taking your stress out on me. He says, I promise you on my mother, that will never happen again if you just don't be disrespectful to me ever. She says, didn't you swear on your mother's life that you would never cheat on me again too? But you cheated on me with Emily. He said, there you go, problem solved. If not, I can try to be better and will continue and will be sometimes I will get mad back if you say something to provoke me. He said, and if I did, I guess I didn't lie because she is doing amazing. And doctors thought she had cancer, how bad it was. So what do you want to choose? She says, this is your choice, not mine, buddy. He says, if you're not disrespectful, this will never happen again. I'm sorry for how I acted, but you have to understand your end too. There is 2 ends to an apology. She says, you can say what you have to say over text. And he says, how do you want to go about this? And she says, that is what you called me about? And he says, I was going to say more earlier, but I forgot now. Kenzie says, okay, cool. So you're not going to get your prom stuff now? He says, no, we can go. Are we good now? She says, I'm still mad, but what is going to change? He said, are you going to not be disrespectful? I can't promise this won't happen again if you can't promise not to be disrespectful, but I can try my best. She said, did you seriously just say that to me? Okay, then we cannot go because clearly you still have some underlying issues going on. He says, what do you mean I have issues when I'm saying is totally reasonable? We only human. She says, why would you ask if I'm going to be disrespectful when I'm not being effing disrespectful? That makes me effing mad and not want to be around you. Like WTF. He says, okay, Kenzie. She says, is that what you just said? I'm going to give you another chance to fix that reply or I'm going to have to block you and we are going to have issues. Clearly, there's still something wrong with your head. He says, I won't say that, but you can't say stuff like this because that's disrespectful. She says, you just lied about changing, and your apology, no, it means nothing, which means I'm not going anywhere with you, which means we are still in an argument. He says, Kenzie, this is what I told you. If you disrespect me, I can't promise for this to not happen again, to happen because it's hard to not react in a bad way. But if you can promise not to, I can promise to, and that's totally reasonable. If not, I can try my best. She says, okay, if you're not going to treat me good, and we can just break up. You're going to treat me like the queen I am, or you can go be alone. 2 minutes to reply. He says, sorry, I was driving my mom. You have to treat me good too, babe. And then he says, you know, I'll treat you good. She says, no, I don't know, because you've been a D for like 2 days. So you're going to have to figure this out yourself. And you apologized 3 times today and have not shown any change. He says, no, I haven't, Kenzie. She says, you're right. You have not showed any change. And then she says, now you can stop repeating everything I say and fix this problem. Like, seriously, you're pissing me the F off. Why are you not hearing anything I'm saying? He says, I'm not repeating anything you're saying. I just want more effort from you if you want more from me. She says, you're not getting effort from me until you change. He says, shite has to go both ways or it's not going to work. Or I don't need effort. Just don't be mean to me for no reason. She says, then effing change and be normal and treat me like a effing, now she says, God, because I am one of the best you'll ever get. He says, I'll treat you amazing. Look at how we live. She says, I'm glad you think that you do not. Oh, she isn't putting punctuation. I'm glad you think that. You do not, she says. Then she says, why are you not hearing what I'm effing saying? Like, I'm going to block you in 5 minutes if you do not get your shit together. He says, what do you want me to change? Not get mad at you when you're mean to me? She says, so are we going to get your prom shite or not? Because you cannot just not go to prom with me if you're going to not do it. And you better be hella effing respectful to me and treating me like a goddess this whole time that we are together, because this is now a test. And he says, okay, we can. And he says, don't be trying to provoke me though. She says, you're going to be extremely nice to me. This is how it's going to go, right? Yeah, it is. He says, you want to just go another day? She says, I know you just didn't say that to me. He says, what does it matter? It's already 3, but all right, we can go, I guess, but we're not really going to have time. She says, okay, cool. You can come get me. He says, okay, let me get money together. How much should I bring? She says, are you coming? He said, yes, I'm trying to figure out how much to bring. What do you think? She says, dude, I don't know. He says, I'll just bring some. Okay, she says. Here, he says. Okay, she says. Then she says, 36 short suit jacket, neck 14.5, 33 sleeve. He said, I forgot to take out the trash. Would you be able to take it out? If not, it's cool. I'll get it when I get back. She says, when? He says, when am I coming back, or when do I want you to take it out? She says, when do you want me to take out the trash? He says, whenever, probably sooner than later. I don't know when the trash people come. She says, okay, I'll do it now. He says, okay, bet. Thanks, babe. She says, check out this listing I just found on Poshmark. Ed Hardy sunglasses. Then she says, so are you not coming? So are you not coming? Question mark. Dead arse. You have 15 minutes to answer. LOL. So you can answer Sean in 3 seconds, but not me. We are about to have problems. He says, you don't get answer me all the time for hours just to play Fortnite on TikTok. Font get mad when I don't answer for 2 minutes. That's literally the definition of hypocrisy, babe. She says, I am not known for purposely ignoring and chatting. And excuse me, I am not known for purposely ignoring and cheating. There's a difference right there. She says, so you can get your shite together or we're going to have problems. And he says, I'm not purposely ignoring. So why are you still mad? She says, are you coming with me or not? Because I'm about to leave Goodwill and go to 30. He says, I haven't showered. I'm about to drink my protein shake and shower. If I would go, I would like to go after I shower. She says, so in 3 hours you would be ready? Don't get nervous. I'm just yawning. It doesn't mean I'm going to stop. He says, I don't want to get dressed when I'm all smelly and sweaty. She says, so I have to go alone is what you're saying? He says, why are you being mean about this for no reason? She says, maybe because you ignored me for no reason, and now you're going to take your 3-hour daily shower and make me wait. So am I going alone? He says, I didn't ignore you whatsoever. I was making a smoothie. I have plays, Kenzie, and I have to shower. She says, you can just shower after the thrift stores are, you can just shower after the thrift stores are dirty. Oh, so I have to go alone is what you're saying? Question mark. He says, if you're going right now, then yeah, you got to go alone. Question mark, she says, question mark, question mark. He says, I want to shower. If I don't know, then I'm going to get busy with all my plays and then not shower all day. She says, I mean, you can just shower at night like a normal person, not right in the middle of the day. I mean, shite. If I go all the way 30 minutes away and then I'm going to get food without you too, for real, like we're about to have problems. He says, I think most people shower in the AM, babe. He says, why? She says, no, I think you're wrong, but thank you for your opinion. He says, this is not making any sense. Like, I'm busy. Why are you mad? I have to shower and get plays done. Like, I need money. Like, what is this? You're about to make me freak out. You send me designer every day to buy you, but you get mad when I try and shower and make a couple of plays. Like, I need time. Do you want me to go broke? It's like you don't appreciate my effort for us at all. I try so hard. I put best food possible in the fridge. I put a roof over our heads. I take us on vacations. Like, please, just let me shower and do plays. When I have plays planned, I can't just dip on everyone and go blow money. Like, when you do this shite, it for real makes me think you give 0 Fs about me at all. Like, I need to get my shite done. If you can't understand that or let me do that or let me do it, do you really even care? If you want to go to places later, we can, but I need to get my shite done first. She says, how long is that going to take? 5 hours, maybe 6 hours, 3-hour shower, then 3 hours doing sales. He says, whatever, Kenzie, just be mean. I guess I could have an actual job and barely have time for any of this like most people. She says, so is that a yes? He says, especially people that make as much as me wouldn't hardly have any time at all to do a quarter of the things we do. She says, so you're going to be ready at like 5? He says, I have a play right at 5, so we could probably go after. She says, bro, I was literally joking. Of course, they all going to be close, like I'm just going to go alone, I guess. What the F? He said, I'm sorry, Kenzie, we can go tomorrow morning. I didn't expect to go shop all day on a Friday. She says, so you for real going to be busy till 5? He said, I have a play at 5, so yeah. I can see if they can do earlier. She says, I don't even care anymore. I'm on the way there. I don't need anyone. She can buy her own flowers. Okay. He says, okay, I'm sorry, Nug. She says, you're not. He says, okay, whatever, Kenzie. You're being inconsiderate towards me. Let me make my money. I cannot go make money to go blow money. I cannot go make money to go blow money shopping. It's not going to work out. I'll go broke. And she sends him something to buy. He says, what's the plan for tonight? She says, I thought you were busy all day. He said, I think my last play is that one at 5. I'm about to dip for another play. That's a half an hour. So after 5 should be good. I can double check, see if that's it. She says, so all day? He says, Kenzie, that's only an hour from now. She says, I don't think I'm gonna have kids. I don't think I'm gonna have kids. Is your house unlocked? He said, I'm about to dip. Yes, babe. She says, I'm gonna come over, leave it unlocked. He said, come. I can see you before I dip real quick. She says, why would I bring kids into a world that's going to be effed in 10 years? Like we're not going to have very much of a world. He says, whenever people hurt the planet, it seems to always swing back and hurt everyone else. I think people and the earth will work itself out, babe. I wouldn't worry about it besides making change and awareness and topics like that. I feel that the planet is going to be effed too, but you can't let it stop you just like that, you know? Because our generation, way more aware of things than the ones before. Every generation blames the one before. Remember that? Okay. From the internet especially, and most these dark arses probably got the COVID shot. She says, I don't care. That doesn't change the fact that the world's probably going to end before I die, and I'm not having a kid. She says, why would I bring a kid into a world that's going to be effed? I'm cool. He says, we'll see, babe. I don't see it happening, though, to be honest. She says, well, I do. He says, when people hurt the earth, it seems to always have a natural disaster and kill hella people. And he says, Kenzie, it always looks better on social media. I see posts like that too. And we always plan days together. She says, you don't plan it. I do. Aw, poor baby has to plan it. Hi, Bucky Ann. Hi, Jen Grill. Hi, Alyssa. And I need 2 carts. Where should I meet Olivia? He says, meet her anywhere busy. She says, sheets. He says, we both plan, 'cause we both should have input. Yeah. She says, where are carts? She's still sending him TikToks. He says, I unfollow, block, whatever. You know that. She says, LOL, not after you complain about it. He says, name an example. She says, she goes to my high school. I've known her my whole life. He goes, yeah, like who? She says, if I've known somebody since elementary and I have never been moat than friends, who cares? More, I think she means. He's saying that, I'm sorry. He's saying, if I've known someone since elementary and have never been more than friends, who cares? Especially harmless people, not thoughts. She's sending him stuff to buy her in TikToks. He says, I'm sorry, I should have asked you to talk a little quieter instead of shh. She says, where are your, excuse me, your tweezers? Never mind. He says, you found? She says, let me know when you're home. He says, okay, about an hour. She says, okay. She says, do you want to make scallops and shrimp tonight? He says, if you want, we're already having crab legs, so there'll be a lot of seafood. He says, maybe eat the crab legs first, and if we're still hungry, we can make the shrimp. She says, I want a lot of seafood. I want those scallops. Bad AF. She said, I'm telling your mom how good they are. He says, yeah, we could probably do that. Only thing is, I don't know how I would make the shrimp. I'll be making the crabs, the shrimp and scallops 3 different ways. So that would get like a lot of different kitchenware dirty at one time. So I'd rather do them one by one, just so that's like not a hectic mess. Also, yeah, the scallops are really good. The one thing is my mom needs a low fat diet and I put butter in it. So if we could we could figure out some pep substitute. I cannot put butter in it. That would be nice too. Kenzie says, she said some butter is okay. We can go to Aldi. Uh-oh. Thanks. Okay. And get that vegan butter, she says. He says, or we can do that. We're going to need a good white wine for it. And how should we season the crab? Since we're not trying to use butter, I'm not either. And then she's sending him bathing suits she wants. She says, how long? Bro, are you going to take a 2-hour shower? A 2-hour shower? Like for real? Like, I know you here. He says, I was in the shower and my bad had way more buildup than I thought. Really need that scrubby thing you showed me. My mom wants you to call. She says, I'm on live TikTok. Okay. She says, I'm on live. Hold on. He says, are we still going to your aunt's? Oh, you going live? And are we going to town hall later? She says, yes, come over, we can. He says, okay, I'm dressed decent then. Then he says, I just realized we already have the scallops out though. She says, what are you wearing? He says, I don't know. If we go out to eat, probably my ice cream jeans. If not, just some Nike sweats. She says, let me know. He says, well, what do you want me to do about the scallops? Let me know, I guess. I'm just waiting around. She says, I don't know. 1 over, come. 1 over. Red Rover, Red Rover. Not pink, come over. Okay. All right. And then she says, 8K viewed. He says, so what's the plan? She goes, come over. He says, that doesn't tell me the plan at all, babe. She goes, want to come over now? He says, I'm reheating leftovers and then I'll be on the way. She says, where are you? Bring a eighth. He says, okay. Is it for your uncle? Yes, she says, purple weed. Okay. Where are you at? He said, I just got done eating. Bouts to come in a second. She says, bro, WTF. How long are you going to take? WTF. How you going to FaceTime me and then not answer like question marks. She's pissed. He says, why are you so obsessed with yourself? LOL, she says. Then she says, look what I found on Depop, another thing for him to buy. Then she says, WTF, did you, for real, just walk away and go to bed? Just walk away, Renee. Okay, I'm gonna go home, she says. You have 5 minutes to reply, 3 minutes left, then I'm leaving. He says, sorry, I was just on my phone. I must have just fell asleep. And Kenzie says, we have problems. He says, why? Why do we have problems? He says, massaging was not going to help. She says, stop texting me. He says, you have to stretch. She said, we have problems. Like you effed up bad. I don't know why the F you don't learn. Stupid as F. Of course, your dumb arse just goes back to bed. That is why we have problems. Wow, she's mean. LMAO, I know you didn't just not answer. You are effing up so bad right now. You dead arse have 3 minutes to answer or are we on a break? Okay, cool. We're not talking till Florida. Major relationship rule. Never let your girl go to bed mad. Clearly, your perkhead arse can't grasp that fact. Maybe you will learn in a couple of days and how to treat a woman. We are dead arse, not talking till Florida. We have issues. If Sean was calling you a million times, you would answer so fast. Good to know your priorities. You're giving little biatch. You wonder why I hate men. That is why. Then she says, you're also dumb as F for leaving your front door unlocked. Maybe you should have locked it. He says, left the something and hoping I'd stay up, and I couldn't. Kenzie, I tried to help you. Me massaging your back was not helping. It was not going to help you because you need to stretch. It makes you feel better. Your muscles are tight and you're pulling on different muscles. And yeah, sorry, I was too tired and couldn't stay up, even though I told you like I wasn't going to pass out massaging you. LMAO, she says. Then you give me that dry arse reply. You a P word. Do not text me. I'm done with your gay arse excuses if you lame as F. You only answer like 2 things. I text you. It is giving dry arse. You not sound like I always say. You're not sorry, she says. This is Kenzie. You're not sorry like I always say. You're just going to do this again. And this is why we are not talking till Florida because I'm done. He says, What did I do wrong? The massaging wasn't going to help, and I didn't intentionally go to bed. I just laid down and passed out in 30 seconds. She says, so you're not going to fix this. You're causing a deep problem for your service. Self, she says. Your 10-minute timer is starting now to fix this problem or you're getting blocked. He says, what did I really do? Like, I'm sorry I passed out. I don't know why I was so tired. Time's up, she says, so you're getting blocked. He says, why would I be blocked over this? She says, 5 minutes left. I thought she said time was up. She said time's up. So now we have 5 minutes left. What a liar. He says, do you want me to massage you or buy you a massage? Would that make it better? She says, no, I want you to fix this. He says, have I told you I was sorry? I wasn't trying to do that. I literally laid down and fell asleep in 2 minutes. I shouldn't have to fix anything unintentional, like I don't know how I was that tired. Then he said, I'm sorry. I said I was sorry. That should be enough. That is the only thing I did was fall asleep on you. The fact is you got up without saying nothing and just went and laid down and did not tell me anything. And that is the problem. And clearly you're not understanding that. That's her talking. And her talking again, like we are going to be in this argument until we get it through, until you get it through your thick arse, gut, skull, she says. He says, I was only going to lay down for 5 minutes and go on my phone, and then I just crashed as soon as I laid down. She says, why the F did you not tell me you were getting effing up and going to lay down? That is the problem. That's the problem, she says. She says, you are still not effing getting it. Like, what the F is wrong with you? Like, nobody just gets up, doesn't say anything, and then goes and lays down. Nobody does. Nope, nobody. Like, why did you say, okay, I'm going to go lay down? Like, that's normal to effing communicate, which clearly you're not good at. He says, I was talking to you, telling you hella shite you could do for your back, and you were just weren't responding. So I just thought I'd let you go for a second. She said, you're honestly just making yourself look so effing bad. Like, I'm actually going to ignore you until we go to Florida if you do not fix this right now. Telling me to stretch my legs is not going to help. I don't need you to give me your shitey little advice. I know exactly what's wrong with my back. So what's it going to be? Are you going to get blocked and ignored until we go to Florida? Where are you going? Where are you going to fix this right now? He says, I looked up on the internet how to relieve lower back pain ASAP and told you dozens of things. She says, oh, okay, so you're getting blocked. She says, like, literally, we will not go to Florida with you. Are you actually serious? Like, I'm going to give you one last chance. He says, so what did I do wrong? I told a dozen of things to do. You didn't respond, so I went to lay down for a second. I didn't think I'd fall asleep. I was about to come back in 5 minutes. I didn't even brush my teeth or anything. She says, you did not effing communicate. Like, that's the problem. How many effing times do you have to tell your dumb arse, why are you not effing getting this? She says, like, you're getting blocked in 10 minutes if you do not figure this out. She says, you are digging yourself in the deepest hole ever. He says, when I texted you at 2 is when I realized what happened. And I was just too tired. And he says, so you're mad I didn't tell you when I was leaving the room. You're just mad I went to my room. She says, texting me at 2 was already too late. I didn't know why you were still not grasping this with your little head. She says, are you not reading WTF? Like, WTF is wrong with you? And then she says, like, are you mentally okay? And she says, shite. Then she says, like, Reed, stop being so effing dumb. WTF. And he says, that's what you said. You said you were mad because I didn't say anything before I went and laid down. He says, wow. She says, wow, good job. She says, good job reading. He says, so should I tell you when I leave the room? You were initially mad because I didn't tell you I was leaving the room. If you are going to leave the room and go to B, yes. You wouldn't think that's common sense, she says. Shite, what is wrong with you? You're making me doubt everything. What is wrong with you? She tells him. He says, I explained, LOL. I didn't intentionally go to bed. You seen all the lights were on. She says, like, is this how you're going to be? Question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. So why didn't you tell me you were going to lay down? Why the F would you just get up, walk away, say nothing, then go to bed without saying nothing? Why are you not understanding? I'm going to block you, she says. He says, you weren't responding to what I was saying, babe. I didn't know if you were asleep or didn't want to talk or you were mad or something. She says, OMG, what the F is wrong with you? Like, what the F? Like, is your head okay? Question mark. He says, why is that wrong now? She says, why am I asking when I know the answer is? It's no, it's not okay. And then he says, like, I was literally just going to go on my phone for 5 minutes in the other room, then come back like I was sitting all awkward on the floor at that point and my back was starting to hurt. I was even telling you that. If I was so tired and then just fell asleep in 2 minutes with the lights on, none of this would have happened, he said. She said, no, if you just told me you were tired and you wanted to go to bed, none of this would have happened. But your dumb arse can't understand that. She said, if you say something dumb to this, you're getting blocked. I'm over this conversation. You literally draining the brain cells out of my head. 1 minute left to reply. He says, okay. Well, I'm sorry. I fell asleep on you. No, next time I'll tell you I'm going to lay down. She says, okay, now you can come get me and we can go to Hainan. How come they don't go to Luca anymore? He says, I was just about to record. Can we go in a little? She says, doesn't say anything here. She keeps texting something, but it's nothing in there. He said, I'm just asking a question. She put a bunch of periods. He goes, what? We can't go in an hour? Okay, you're getting blocked, she says. He says, I'm literally just asking a question, but okay, Kenzie. She says, so you're fine with getting blocked? Then she says, there's another problem that we have in this relationship. You do not chase. Like, I'm going to have to end this relationship if you're not going to chase. Oh, my goodness. She says, I'm not going to be with an MFer who doesn't try. She says, now you have 2 minutes to answer this phone. Actually, you have 1 minute to answer this message. I would answer right now. 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 Your time is about to be up. Look, I know you didn't just answer the phone. Now we actually have problems. You're effing blocked. You're such a little biatch. You wonder why no one hangs with you except Blair. Now you're going to have to do a lot more than just take me to Heinen's to fix this. You're effing R word. And then she says, charger, I need the charger. He says, grab it out of the studio room. Where are you at? I'm only at 15%. She says, today and tomorrow are the last days for us to buy prom tickets. Buy them ASAP, he says. She says, I will tomorrow. How about $8? She says, I pay 50, you pay 100. Question mark. Also, go like my TikTok. He says, yeah, that's fine. I got you. She says, what are you doing? He says, nothing right now. She says, didn't mean to hang on. He says, didn't mean to hang on your something Wooick. What, she says? He says, I didn't mean to hang up on you quick. I didn't know if you heard me say bye. She says, I didn't hear you say bye. He said, Shelby and Grace want to go to town hall with me tonight. She says, I think I'm going and go. Is that okay? He says, ew, okay. She says, is that a no? He says, like WTF. Okay. Oh my God. Okay. What nug? She put a crying face. She says, you can't go one day without being a D, huh? He says, I wasn't being a D. I said, that's funny because I didn't think you were done talking. She says, didn't even get ID. LOL, he said. She says, yeah, I F with the drink. It's cheap too. The Cavs are going to lose, I think. He says, I'm not watching. Me and Blair playing 2K. He says, actually, they might win now. She says, who they playing? And then, let's see. He says, yeah, we're definitely losing that game. And yeah, I don't know if I want to go F up my legs when we have to drive. And she said, I'm down if you are. What do you mean? He says, I usually can't feel my legs for about a week after I go to a concert. Well, like my feet. She says, I'm scared. He says, question mark. What are you doing? She says, I'm driving home to you. He says, oh, you drunk? Why you scared? She says, in the hood, and I'm a little drunk. He says, drive patient, but get to where you need to go and you'll be fine. Don't look at no one and don't draw attention. No one is going to do anything. She says, okay, I'm disrespecting. Scared. I'm coming, she says. Are you up? He says, yes. She says, okay, I'm about to be there. Where are you? He says, in the studio. She says, come. She says, it's warm as F. He says, are you on fort? She says, no, I can be though. He says, what you want me to do? She says, what do you want me to do? Sorry. He says, if you get on, let me know. I'm making a song right now that might get on if I have the time, if I have time. She says, you could let me know when you're on. I'm making TikToks. Uh-oh. Hold on a minute. I hit that thing instead of my thing. Uh-oh. Let me know, she says. Bro, oh, hell no. You have 3 seconds to call me back or I'm actually going to be mad. Where are you at? Angelo's here. 3 minutes, he said. She says, are you up? Noog? It's April 14th. She says, I think I hear word sounds in the basement. Here, she says, 1 second, you come grab me. About to be at the light, she says. He says, I'm waiting downstairs, so just pull up to the door. She says, here, I'm on FaceTime. He says, I'm about to be on the way. Whose car are we taking? I gotta get gas. She says, yes. He says, it's not a yes or no question. And she says, his car, your car. Can we get Chipotle? He says, I'm starving. You can't. You can, I'll drive. Oh, okay, I'm on the way. Then she's showing something else he can buy. And he says, tomorrow is trash day. If you see anything laying around the crib, could you put it in the trash? She says, you look good in it. I like it. Unbutton your shirt a little bit. Nug? Why is it here? It's green. What is it? He says. Let's see what this is. I don't know. Oh my gosh, why am I yawning so much? Never mind, now it's blue, she says. He says, okay, it's probably from Beechwood Chuddy Service. She says, how long till you're home? About to be on the way. She says, I have to do with the police now. Apparently, I bumped somebody or some shite. I didn't even effing know I hit somebody. I think I would know if I effing hit a car. They are saying that they think it's related to the bald man that's been harassing me. How, he says. What are they effing saying you hit? They're saying that I hit a car, but they're not saying who, so we don't know anything yet. He says, that's so dumb. How would it be related? She says, I don't know that, but they're thinking because I have no damage, obviously. Okay, so this is when, I think this is when that officer said he remembered her from Sheets or something. And the mother was like, when she hit the car, and she's like, oh, when she didn't hit the car? Right? Let me see, I made this a little bigger so I can see your chats. Love tacos. You're making them. Hi, Amy, Justice League. You love to cook and recently found some awesome channels with awesome recipes. And Kathleen is eating some peach ice cream. It is so good. I had some fresh peach ice cream when I went to North Carolina. Oh no, Denise. What happened to Denise? Scooter, I was coming down the stairs to lay down and I was on the last 2 steps and I slid down a little. Uh-oh. Hope you're okay. To Scoots, what are you eating? What is Scooter eating? Hi, Long Island gal. Oh boy. Long Island gal is Nightbot automatic. Yeah, he's automatic. What's that song? Dun dun dun. He's systematic. Well, gosh, what is that song? Dun 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 dun. I think it was the Pointer Sisters. Or is that the one you got to slow it down? But there's 2 different songs I'm thinking of. He's so automatic. whenever you're around. Okay. I need a minute to clear my eyes so I don't fall asleep, because I can easily fall asleep, as we know, with the Sievers trial. You know what I meant? I was talking to somebody about the Sievers trial. Remember, those of you that followed the Sievers trial, remember when they were talking to little Jimmy Rogers' girlfriend, baby mama, whoever she was? And they said, did you go out to California and speak with Netflix about a documentary or something, and they were going to pay you $200,000? Did they ever make a documentary about the Sievers? I wonder. I want to look into that. I want to look into that. And I have to look into that explosion down on Edisto. In fact, I might have to go down to, if you fall asleep, I know, I might have to go down to Edisto and cover that. I just might have to. They may need me. That explosion fire, that's now possibly arson. I may have to go down. Somebody's got to do it. I might have to go on location. It might. So let's see. I'm not going to fall asleep. I just have to take a break and rest my eyes for a second. When I used to read the Seaver stuff, sometimes I was behind the scenes and I had the papers up there or something. I don't know what was going on. And there were times when there was a couple of times I fell asleep. Not sure. I want to look into that too. You do, just Pepper, to see if they made a documentary about the Seavers? Yeah. And little Jimmy Rogers, Jimmy the Hammer, little Jimmy Rogers with his, that's when we learned about a turtle suit. Yeah, that was, you want to talk about a case? Do you want to talk about a case? Those of you that have not got into the Teresa Sievers case, that is a crazy case. Oh my gosh, those two guys look just like each other. These two best friends. And then you had Jimmy Rogers. Oh my gosh. Remember they were stopping to buy souvenirs and stuff? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. It's so crazy. There's so that case had so many different elements to it. So crazy. All right, I'm going back on. All right, so she says, are you home? He says, yes. She says, I'm about to come home. He says, bet I might leave in a second, but it just down the street. She says, babe. He says, what, babe? She says, come here. Nug now. He says, do you have anything I can put on my foot, like a wrap or something? She says, let me ask my mom. When? He says, I want to hang out for a little. If dude wants at 6, then we're going to leave like right now. But if he wants at 6:30, we'll leave in like half an hour. She says, who's dude? I want to leave at 5:30. I'm hungry. AF. He says, you don't know him. She says, bro, question mark, I'm hungry AF. And this show boring. He says, I'm sorry, I'm waiting for this dude to text back. We can probably just leave soon. Bro, she says, bro, hurry. Now, I'm cold. Then he says, sorry, phone died. Getting ready though, just doing laundry. She says, when are you going to be out of the shower? He says, I'm out. He says, getting dressed. She says, do you want me to come get you now? She says, we have a pack of 6 water bottles here and 2 potatoes. She says, my mom wants us to go to Whole Foods, but I don't know. Let me know now, she says. He says, that's too far. Do you want to just go to Allison's and Heinen's? She says, yes, I would rather do that. Mom was just saying, bet, he said. She says, do you want me to come? Can you Quavo? He says, yes, you can come, trying to figure out money and stuff right now. She says, did you see what it looks like outside? I'm on the way, but I'm just going to stay in the car because it is snowing and I'm keeping my car warm. It's April 18th. She said, just figure $50 to $100 a day. More if you guys are going to go out to dinner to someplace fancy, but on average, that's what it is about. She says it's $50 to $100 a day for drinks and stuff at the park. That does not include shopping or dinner. So it's really like an average. Your total is about $1,100 estimated if you do anything in the room, like room surface and stuff. It can go up. She means room service, I'm sure means. That's 1,100 estimated. She says here. He says, 1 second. She says, come. He says, I got a little filet. Do we have potatoes there or a side you'd want? What floor are you on? He says. She says, I'm already in my car. 3 question marks. The floor my car is on. She says, I don't know why you didn't just follow me back, but okay. Now I'ma just wait, I guess. He says, pull over, you'll see me. And was it more sun? WTF answer. Or we just pick sooner. She just said, he says, Toph called the cops on me. Don't come over till they're gone at least. She says, no ducking way. WTF, are you serious? She's sending a bunch of stuff. Wow, she's sending a bunch of stuff. He's got the cops coming over. She doesn't care. He says, I'm taking your car down the street real quick. So if you're wondering where I'm at, if you wake up, I'm just swooping my things from Kyle's. She says, I was just saying this is your last chance to come or I'm leaving. I wasn't being rude or a biatch. I'm going to leave now since you're clearly are unstable. I will come back and get you when you're mentally stable. You ruined my charger and possibly my seat. So thank you. You don't see me throwing a tantrum like an effing 5-year-old fit. He said, no, I didn't. It's leather. My head hurts. I literally slammed it on my head. She says, I said possibly you ruined my charger that was on the seat. She says, I don't know if you've seen it. The charger will be fine. Just don't use it for a day, he says. And it just started raining. Your car got rained on 10 minutes tops. She says, I don't really give an F. You're not responsible. Left my car opened. He says, oh, it was an accident? Like you literally didn't even care? And my head is swollen right now? Just care about your car seat. He says, like, WTF is wrong with you, honestly. Like, what the actual F? Can you ever think about me? She says, dude, just stop texting me. You literally yelled at me for no reason when I asked you if you were coming. Stop texting me until your calls come. Whatever, Kenzie, change the subject. Give 0 Fs. I'm going to sit here and ice my head. I'm good, he says. Who you ever consider yourself to be a narcissist? She says, sure, if that makes you happy, I was about to FaceTime you and show you what I got. You're literally insane. Stop reflecting yourself onto me. He says, that's what a narcissist would say. She says, then I guess I am. She says, I think you've become a narcissist. Get mental help. He says, I'm being serious. I'm not trying to be mean. And I didn't ask you, she said. Now stop texting me. I'm so glad we didn't F this morning. Should have known this would be coming out of you. Then she says, you disgust me. Learn how to talk better to women better. He says, that is what a narcissist would say. She says, actually, not woman, your girlfriend. And he says, Kenzie, you're literally a narcissist. And she said, and you're literally bipolar. So what's your point? He says, like, you need to think about it. She says, and you need to think about your anger issues and bipolar. He says, that's exactly what a narcissist would say. Okay, she says, you can stop texting me now because we have issues. And then he says, if you don't want to try and change this, we will have to break up eventually because that can't become your personality. And she says, I'm going to block you if you don't stop texting me, by the way, and then break up with you, then break up with me right now. Literally, then break up with me right now. I don't have the time for this BS. He says, are you not going to acknowledge it or try to change it all? You're literally just keep saying what a narcissist would say. Okay, and then she says, and then break up with me now because I don't have time for your mental illness. And he says, Kenzie, you're a narcissist. You don't realize it. She says, just because I think I'm a effing god doesn't mean I'm a narcissist. Now stop texting. You're getting blocked if you send me one more message that I don't like. He says, they say a narcissist won't acknowledge that they're a narcissist, and they say that they are gods and expect special treatment. And they say they will never say sorry. Let's see. All right, I need a little tiny break. Let's see what's going on. So it's, wow, 11:45. How long have I been reading already? 77 minutes I've been on. Xyz. Okay, we're on page 29,087. When we started this, I think it was 28,600 or something. Yeah. Oh, okay, I need a little break. Let me talk to you guys for a minute. Isn't Edisto where yes, they had one on Edisto Beach. Yes. Now that was a good trial. Edisto, autocorrect, Long Island gal, get to Carolyn, get to Scooter, Carolyn. I want to tell you something. Oh, okay, Long Island gal. You know Long Island gal? Okay, Long Island gal, you can email me. My email's in the video description. Do it to the truecrimechat.org and I can hook you up. I want to know what's going on. What's very crazy, just Pepper said. Oh, the Seavers? What does Long Island girl want to know? What's Amy telling Long Island girl? Now I have a fear of missing out. She's eating smothered chicken, peas, and mashed potatoes. I'm hungry, even though I ate something, but did you eat, Scoots? Did they ever just call each other? They did, but one of them would always want it and the other one wouldn't. She's so crazy. Okay, yeah, she is crazy. Like I said, I did see a lot of stuff in the discovery that I want to go over after this. There's a lot of really interesting stuff in there. There are more texts too that I want to go through and read in their own. No, I want her to email me. Not a big deal. LOL. Okay, don't tell me. fear of missing out, just, it's okay. I'll pass it along. It's okay that you don't want to share it with me. It's all right. Let me see. Oh, I got a big surprise. Can I show you one of my big surprises? I'm going to make a video on it, but I have 3 big surprises coming. But I got 2 surprises today. Let's see. Oh, you're not going to see it. There you are. You see it? This one I got, I believe it was for live streaming. I have to look back. I got 3 surprises. One is for the YouTube shopping, one is for live streaming, and one is for members only. Isn't that cool? It's a special little igloo cooler that's logo has the YouTube logo. Isn't that really cool? That was really nice. Everybody wants to take it from me though. But then I got another little something, but I'm going to do a video, and the other thing is pretty cool too. Hopefully that should be here tomorrow. Anyway, I've got to wake up here for a second. Let's see. Hi, Lizzie. Hi, Liza Ann. Okay. I got invited by YouTube out to this big event in California. And a lot of people are telling me to go to it, but I don't know. I was telling my future daughter-in-law, did you want to go out there? I just don't know. It's in October. They give you a big bling thing. It's because of the YouTube shopping and my stuff that I've done with them and that and you go, my son was like, that might be really good, Mom. You do a lot, you could network a lot and you meet all these people and it sounds really cool, but I don't know. But I'd have to decide pretty darn fast if I'm going. So they did say they're going to have some other ones like that. And I wish they'd have one in New York. Why not have it in New York City? Why not have it in New York City? I don't know. Anyway, I'm trying to wake up for a second. It would be fun. It would be, but I'd have to probably. We'll see. I don't know. Okay, are we going to get ready now? Let's see. I just don't want to fall asleep. Okay. Carolyn, I'll check my email. Yeah, check, Scooter, then we can go together. All right. I'll show it to you. It's like an amazing bling bag with you can't even imagine how many vendors. Okay. It could be fine. I'm sure it would be a good time, Kathleen. Are you going to, wait, are you going to Los Angeles, Amy? I'll be better, Eliza. I'm not a quitter. Eliza, you might be new here if you think I'm a quitter. This girl is no quitter. Oh, you were kidding? Don't be kidding. Okay. Ready? He says, I'm going to break up with you is manipulative. Lack of empathy, definitely. You never say sorry to me, ever. And you need a need for admiration. Obviously, you have that. You want to be famous and a model and all the attention and all that. You check every single box, babe. Oh, shoot, I've got to make myself a postage stamp so you can see the text. Sorry, I didn't make myself a postage stamp. There we go. Now I'm a postage stamp. She says, LOL, you are disgusting. Break up with me, pig. He says, wow. She says, every girl wants to be famous. You are disgusting. He says, what a narcissist would say. He should have done that like Jeopardy, like, Alex, I'll take that for 500. The answer is, and the question is, what a narcissist would say. She says, blocked. Then she says, why are you making music? I wouldn't release any of your music because you're only looking for admiration. And didn't you just threaten to break up with me, like right up there? Do you want me to take a screenshot for you, or are you okay? Then he said, all I said was, if you can't acknowledge it or try to change, we'll eventually have to break up. She says, not sure what you're going through right now, but you're going to need to fix this later on because you were just being a complete D for no reason. That's the same thing. He says, all I was saying is you show narcissist traits. She says, and you show abusive traits. You know how I like when you get mad, you literally like break things and become violent. He says, I was asking if you would consider yourself one. She says, you don't see me complaining and personally attacking you. How will I know it will never get worse and you will actually hit me one day? He says, yeah, I break things and get violent, but usually you're showing some of those traits when I do. Yeah, look who's talking. I'm going to pull up on your house with the baseball bat and break all your windows, key your car, throws a rock at you. I'm going to tase your friend. I'll catch a felony. I'll actually kill someone. You know, Kenzie, you're not violent or abusive at all, honey. You are just sweet, sweet, sweet girl. Such a sweet girl. And there you go. What a narcissist would say. She says, when you are having your little 5-year-old tantrum, I just sit there in silence and you keep trying to talk to me and jab at me. That is not what a narcissist would do. And I'm pretty sure if I was a narcissist, my parents would already have me on medication for that, knowing how they are. Honey, they don't put you on a medication for being a narcissist. And actually, honey, they say is no cure for narcissism because the narcissist usually will never acknowledge it and then will never change. He says, no, you show no empathy to me. You are mean, and that's usually when I act out. She says, remember when I was literally sick yesterday with a headache and I felt like I was going to puke and all you cared about is FaceTime with Blair and smoking your backwood? That's really not showing empathy, to be honest. So are you a narcissist too? And then she says, maybe you should go to the gym and work out and get some of that anger out, buddy. Because if you keep taking your anger out on me, this is not going to end well for us. Dom says, well, I've asked myself that before and no, because I show empathy towards people and I don't just think about myself. He says, I'm calm. I'm just trying to have a real talk about our relationship. She says, sounds like you're trying to have a real talk about me being a narcissist. He says, well, we're together. So if we're having a talk about you, it's about us. She said, everybody can be a little bit more compassionate. That doesn't make me a effing narcissist. Remember the other day how you said you have better things to do than pick up the trash on the side of the road? Yeah, that's kind of sounding narcissistic to me too. He says, I can't remember you saying sorry ever. She said, actually, I did say sorry. Remember when we were fighting and it was right before I found out you were texting Emily? So then my apology was taken back. He says, no, Kenzie, that's because I have to support myself. I said, let me see what I have going on that day. She says, you probably don't remember because you were too busy texting Emily, trying to sip lean with her and smoke a blunt. He says, you're just acting more and more like a narcissist, babe. She says, no, that's not what you said. You said you have better things to do. She says, here we go on the revolving door, and I'm done texting you. Go to the gym, stop throwing a fit, stop texting me. I don't have time for your mental breakdown right now. He says, I'm really not having one of those. That's what a narcissist would say again. They always try to say the other person is the problem, and you are gaslighting narcissistic behavior, saying, I have mental illness, I'm throwing a fit. Literally, you have only acted like a narcissist this whole time. Like, for real. I'm trying to tell you and ask you to consider and can change because I love you. She says, then break up with me for real. He says, even if you're not totally a narcissist, you're showing a lot of behavior. She says, I don't like your weird attitude right now. And then she says, and you're showing extreme signs of future abuse. Everybody has shite that they have to deal with. I'm obviously not a narcissist. And if that's how you truly feel about me, why do I want to be with someone who looks at me that way? I plan to clean up trash on the highway. I love animals. I defend all your friends. She defends all his friends. She hates all his friends and she wants to tase them and kill them and catch a felony. What is she talking about? She defends all his friends. I don't need you telling me how I am and how I feel on the inside. I am more conscious than any of these people. I'm more self-aware than any of these people. I'm more self-aware than you. I see everything. I know everything. I don't need you telling me what's going on. Is this all really because I didn't care that you hit your head on my door after you left my door open in the rain? He says literally what a narcissist would say again. Again, you keep just doing it over and over again. And she says, maybe you should look up what a narcissist means. He says, I read a book on it. She says, what's wrong? Dang, I'm just trying to have a real talk about our relationship right now. He says, I know what they are. She says, F, I forgot you were an expert. I don't think you know exactly what anything is until you've been through it. If I was a narcissist, I would have stopped texting you a while ago, but I'm trying to make your head understand. He says, Kenzie, I'm just considering this now and telling you you show a lot of narcissistic behavior, and I don't want you to become one, and you should work on some habits. And he says, I love you. I'm not trying to say anything bad about you. She says, we all have stuff we have to work on. I'm only 17, and that does not make me a narcissist once again. He says, actually, you did already seen multiple bad things about me. She says, that's not the only reason I want to be an effing model. I want to be a model so the whole world knows who I am and I can make a change. He says, and you say way worse, Kenzie. He says, I didn't even say that till you sent me that. She really thinks she's going to be a model. She's not even tall enough to be a model. You have earned your way to never coming to any of my shoots again. Thank you for showing me how unsupportive of my modeling journey you are. Sent you what? She says, you literally just said that out of nowhere, trying to hurt me for no effing reason. Screenshot off good. Google, I'm not trying to hurt you, Kenzie. She says, I don't care what effing mood you are in. You're going to treat me good, or this isn't much of a relationship. I don't know what's wrong with you right now. No, clearly you are, because somebody who loves me wouldn't talk to me this way. He says, Kenzie, I'm asking you to consider if you're a narcissist, you literally say the meanest shite to me and never say sorry. I'm not even saying you're one. I'm just pointing it out because for real, like if some of this can't change, this relationship will end. We need healthy boundaries. She says, I literally showed my mom this conversation, and she is saying the only thing I need to work on is my level of compassion. That does not make me an effing narcissist. Now stop texting me because we have problems. Somebody who loves me would never talk to me this way. Oh my gosh, what about the way she talks to him? What about the way she talks to him? She says, you have many things you need to work on too. Maybe we can support each other and help each other grow without being disrespectful and trying to hurt me. He says, I'm not being disrespectful. I'm just telling you, you're a narcissist. I literally read a book on it. You want to read it too? She says, that does not make you a effing professional. And I'm telling you, you are abusive if you want to play that game. He says, no compassion is one of the main traits of it too. She says, and I've been diagnosed with multiple things, and that has never been one of them. Thank you, Dr. Russo. That was Jay Bell's husband, was Dr. Russo. Remember that? He says, I'm not Kenzie. You are, if anything. I'm not Kenzie. You are, if anything. You threaten me and say mean things. She says, I would stop right now if I was you before this gets bad. He says, and say you're going to break up with me. That's abusive. She said, didn't you just call me a biatch yesterday and tell me I'm terrible at driving? We both say mean things, which obviously is not good and should stop, but I don't see that stopping for you. Didn't you just threaten to break up with me today? So clearly that's not much of a big deal to you. Then she says, I mean, if you're going to end this relationship, let's let you do it right now because I don't have time for your shite. You are disrespectful and are trying to hurt me right now, and it's not working. Dom says, yeah, you say I'm a D? Same thing. I never say you're a biatch. That word is used similar to complaining, like, why you biatching at me? I'd say that to anyone. It's not referring to female at all. She says, so if you smoke weed, does that make you a full drug addict? He said, again, being a narcissist, why you're pointing the problem at me when I'm just trying to ask you to consider some things and make some change for the better being of you and me. And then he says, so we can live a happy, healthy relationship. And she says, this will never be a healthy relationship on the way you are talking to me right now. He says, I'm literally not talking bad at all. I haven't said anything but point out that the narcissist behaviors you're acting in. And he says, that's the point. That is all. You have said you're not trying to fix anything and you're not trying to personally attack me. She says, I'm done texting you. You have just caused problems for no reason. He says, no, I'm not. I'm just asking you to consider it and try to change. I'm not personally attacking you. I'm just saying you're acting this way. She says, do you like when I tell you that you're bipolar and abusive? He says, how am I bipolar? He says, I do when it's just a response to something I said to you, because like you just tried to say I'm the problem for bringing up something reasonable and important in our relationship. She says, me having to be more compassionate does not make me a narcissist. It hurts that you look at me that way, and I can't believe that you think of me like that. Oh my goodness. He says, it's not just that, and I'm not looking at you in any type of way. I'm telling you in black and white definition and facts, and you're living a lot of them. She says, yes, I'm aware. You've told me multiple times, actually, that all this conversation has been is you telling me that I'm a narcissist. You don't need to keep rubbing my nose in it like VF. Thank you for letting me know you think I'm a terrible person. He says, I'm not. I'm asking you to realize it and change these habits. I don't think you're a terrible person. I think you're too good of a person, he says. And these habits protect you. She says, I'm allowed to protect myself. Everyone has mechanisms, and so do you. If you can't see all the good I do for people, then why is this relationship? He says, no, Kenzie, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm saying you act this way psychologically, so don't get hurt. I do see the good you do. Why do you think I'm with you? Because I know you're an amazing person. She says, I see that you want me to be more compassionate, but you did not give a single F that I was sick yesterday, and you were just being mean to me, and you don't see me coming at you. And I really don't care that you read a book that doesn't really do anything. He says, you were coming, and I saw all of that after you were mean to me. I did care before I said anything. I said, no, let me just drive you. Let me just drive. You're all sick and going to be angry. I was looking out for you. I didn't want you driving sick and then feeling more like shite than ever. And I didn't want you speeding and getting a ticket. Maybe you could have said it nicely instead of telling me I'm in an accident waiting to happen. Telling me I'm bad at driving and I'm a biatch, Kenzie says. And then Kenzie says, Do you know if you worded it that way, you definitely would have had a better outcome? He says, I say those things after you say things to me. It's hard not to react like at first. I was nice. I said, just let me stretch my legs. My legs hurt. We'll be on the road in 10 minutes. She says, we were in the car for 15 hours at that point. That is no excuse. And I was starting to get sick. And I didn't want to wait 10 minutes for you to stretch. I was just going to drive so you could stretch your legs and not be on your butt. Oh, they must have already went to Florida. What is even happening? I'm so over this because it says 425 when he brought up the narcissist. Let me see. 420. And she said we were in the car for 15 hours. Hold on a minute. When did they leave for Florida? Was that, unless they're there right now? Because before that, yeah, it was wait a minute. Can't believe this is a long time about a narcissist. I know it seems like we missed, like it went too fast to 425. And then for her saying they're in the car 15 hours, they're either on the way up or on the way back and they weren't text. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, here we go. Let's go over here. Here we go. We were in the car for 15 hours. That is no excuse. And I was starting to get sick. And I did not want to wait 10 minutes for you to stretch. I was going to drive so you could stretch your legs and not be on your butt. She says, what is even happening? I'm so over this. He says, you're the one that brought this up. I don't know what this is either. She says, no, you're the one who started calling me a narcissist for no effing reason. Next time you hit your head on my car, I will literally come, rush you to the ER and be there for you all day. He says, look, I just want you to try and realize what I'm talking about and what you do and try to make a change. She says, I said that like 85 times. Oh, I want to mention that. This 85 times that she says in these texts, she also says it in the jail calls. She's stuck on that 85 times. 85 times he did this, 85 times. They think I killed 85 people. It's 85, 85. Okay. You are just rubbing my nose in it at this point. I already told you. Now she says 8 times that I know, and I can be a little more compassionate. I obviously can read. I'm not an effing R word. He says, no, it's a lot more than that, and you need to change. He says, I'm not trying to rub your nose in it. She says, okay, I'm done talking to you. You either love me through my flaws or you don't get over it. Or you don't get over it. He said, that's different. This is directly how you treat other people. She says, so are we not talking about us anymore? Like, what the F is this conversation? Because it's going nowhere. He says, I just want to know you're going to try and change. She says, how many more times do you want me to say that? Do I have to take screenshots? Like, and then he says, and not just think it's about compassion. She says, okay, so you're still going to rub my face in it, is what I'm getting. He says, no, I'm just trying to get my point fully across because you're not realizing it because you're just trying to point the finger at me with anything you can or point out any flaw you can, which is more narcissistic behavior. She says, no, I understand what you're saying. How many more times do I have to say this for you to stop rubbing it in my face? He says, when you stop saying it like a narcissist, she says, obviously, I need to be more compassionate, and I'm working on that. And I've been working on that for a long time. I don't need you to tell me what I need to work on. I'm a different person today than I was a month ago. I change every week. A narcissist would not acknowledge this at all, and they would ignore you. And I would have stopped talking to you a long time ago if I was a narcissist. Now, stop effing calling me a narcissist. Narcissist. He says, you can't say it without being mean. And at first, you didn't acknowledge it and was mean to me and said you were going to block me. But then I told you that's what a narcissist would do. And you kept saying, I already said it 85 times or something like that. Mean, trying to point it at me like I can't listen or something. And she says, well, clearly you weren't listening because I've said it more than 3 times. So, and then she says, so it looks like you're the one not getting it. He says, again, you keep doing it. I hear you say it every time. She says, clearly, you're just going to keep pointing fingers at me, so I'm going to stop texting you. If you heard me say it every time, are you still going on? Why are you still calling, you narcissist, after I told you to stop? He says, but only point fingers and be defensive with it. She says, somebody who loves me would not treat me this way. He says, I'm just pointing out how you're treating me bad. Again, you just did it. Again, trying to make me the problem and make me feel that I'm doing something wrong, but I'm just bringing up the wrong you do to me. She says, I literally said, I understand. Like, what do you need me to do? And then she said, what more do you need me to effing say? Like, how many times do I need to tell you that this is literally making me so mad? He says, you still being defensive, babe, like you won't stop realize anything. If not what you don't say, it's what you keep saying. She says, I'm done texting you. Clearly, this conversation is a revolving door, just like our relationship. And then she said, he says, again, it seems like I'm the problem, making the conversation a revolving door, but really it's you who can't stop. Like, it would be better if you just said nothing than that. Or even the last thing. She says, first of all, we're going to start right here. I am not a narcissist. And second of all, you should really apologize on how you talk to me, telling me that I'm doing modeling because I need attention. And that is the most disgusting thing I think you have ever said to me in my whole life. Oh, really? Third of all, I've said I understand over 5 times now that I don't care if it's not enough for you. I'm not even going to lie. You really messed this relationship up today. Like, I can't even believe you. You've said any of this to me. Good to know how you feel about me and how you think about me. He says, I don't even consider that at all. It's just what you sent me earlier. I mean, more how you act towards me. He says, I just want to set healthy boundaries, and I'm letting you know when you act in those ways, I was talking about its narcissist, and it hurts my feelings, and I don't want to deal with that kind of cruelness. And she says, if my family doesn't think I'm a narcissist, then I'm not one. Then I'm not once again. This is your last chance to stop calling me that. Oh, my family doesn't think I'm a narcissist, then I'm not. Once again, this is your last chance to stop calling me that. Then she says, how about you read how you've been talking to me all day? We've been talking for over 5 hours and you're just calling me a narcissist in every single message and telling me I'm only modeling for attention. He says, no, I said that once, and that's not my point at all. My point is you treat me like shite in a narcissist way in a lot of situations. Don't try and make it about that I already said that. I was saying I don't care about that and at all. And I'm telling you, I want you to change how you treat people. She says, well, I'm telling you that I do care about that. And that was extremely disgusting and disrespectful that you ever said that to me. And I told you like effing 85 times that I'm going to change. What are you not effing getting? And then she says, I'm so over this convo. You have been personally dragging me down all day, trying to hurt me for no effing reason, all because you hit your effing head on a car door when you left my window open in the rain. He says this convo keeps going because you keep saying things like this. Show me change, he says. You keep acting like I'm the problem. I'm the one bringing up the problem. You can't try and pin something on me. That's the narcissist part I'm talking about. And you have just done it over and over again for hours. She says, so what you're saying is I have to change, but you haven't changed in like months. This is not working out. If you can't see the good, then why is this relationship? Then what is this relationship? He says, I do. That's why I'm asking you to change the bad. And again, you're trying to pin it towards me. And then she says, if I'm going to change, then so are you. That is what I'm saying. I'm not putting anything on you. But if you just feel that way, if the shoe fits, he says, what are you saying? I have to change? You haven't said anything to me about changing until I bring up the problems I have. She says, that's exactly what you do to me too. So I guess we're doing the same thing we do to each other. You're going to start chasing, she says. You're going to start showing more affection and love, and you're going to start taking more pictures and just making me feel more loved. And then, yeah, I will change for you too. He said, I will not chase. I show plenty of affection. I'm actually the first to engage in any affection. I feel most of the time, and I take pictures whenever you want me to, but you're mean about it, and that's part of the problem. If I take a photo wrong, you don't just tell me to take it different. You're so quick to say I'm terrible at taking photos, and you don't even want to take any anymore. And I'm such a problem. That's part of the narcissist behavior. It's pointing out any imperfection a person may do. He says, but if you're going to hold feelings against me, why would I chase and push more feelings on you? And he says, that's narcissist behavior from you. And then I'd be the empath. She says, I'm not changing if you're not going to chase. That's narcissistic, he said. That's saying you want me to be your empath. She says, no, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I want you to chase. I don't know what you're getting. I don't know where you're getting this random information from. Clearly, you're not understanding a word I'm saying. I don't know. Okay, hold on. He says, Kenzie, that's narcissistic behavior. Do you want to read the book? There's a clear black and white push and pull situation from the book. She says, remember, you're not an expert because you read a book. And if you keep saying that, I'm going to stop texting. I could give 2 Fs about the book. He says, it's only facts and it makes sense. She says, if you do not like how I'm acting and you clearly cannot think highly of me, then end this relationship right now. I don't care about it. Does it make any sense? You think you're an expert because you read a book. You honestly sound delusional. He says, so you're saying you know more about it than me and you haven't read a book. Then she says, if you can't think highly of me and see all the good I do and only point out the few bad things, then end this relationship. He says, I have read many books that have talked about it. She says, I'm saying I'm not a narcissist, and that is your last chance to stop calling me at. And I'm sorry that your family effed you up, but I'm not like that, and neither is my family. He says narcissism is also in manipulation books. She says, I'm going to need you to stop playing doctor now. He says, you keep doing it over and over again. She says, okay, break up with me right now. I'm dead arse serious. I'm so done with this. She says, you clearly can't see all the good I do, and you clearly think very low of me in this relationship because I'm over this. I am effing serious as F. I've asked you over 5 times to stop calling me a narcissist, and you won't stop. I've also told you many times I'm going to work on my compassion, and you have not understood that either. So what is the point of being in a relationship if you're going to be extremely rude? Tell me I only want a model for attention. Keep telling me I'm a narcissist and rubbing it in my face, and you're not going to see any of the good I do. So what's the point? He says, no, I haven't. You keep saying narcissistic things, so I tell you that it's narcissistic. She says, break up with me. I am over this relationship. He says, I'm just telling you what you do. She says, and there you go again, calling me a narcissist after I've told you now 7 times. Break up with me. I'm done, she says. He says, I didn't. She says, you can't see any of the good I do. Then she says, effing end this relationship if you're not going to stop. Question mark. I would answer right now, she says. He answers, he says, I do see all the good. I'm just saying, I'm just asking you to realize this and change it. And you said you would. I know that, but you just keep saying narcissist things back. And I'm just pointing them out, not saying you're a narcissist, but saying what you said is narcissistic. There you go again, she says. Why the literal F would I change for you when you keep calling me a problem narcissist? Why, what would I have to change for you, she says, why you can't even chase me? Just because you have me doesn't mean you can stop chasing me. Dude, end this relationship. I'm done. Okay, now we're on 29,175. We're getting close to 1,000 pages read tonight. That's sad. I bet you can spot one a mile away now. What happened? Hi, Serenity. She says he had a book. Well, he had a lot of books. He did a lot of reading, Serenity Trek. He read a lot of self-help books on many things. Let me see. Debbie, I learned that I did the same with my ex. He is a massive master covert narcissist. Took me years to escape him. Oh, wow. What did Debbie say? She said he really couldn't get away from her, could he? Without her doing her threats. Just Pepper said Kenzie has demanded weed once. Well, she hasn't demanded weed in a long time, Just Pepper, a real long time, not the way she was. And I don't know if she was getting off. I don't know what she was doing. Let's see. I cannot believe how long they are dragging this out, Liza Ann says. I would have tapped out 50 texts ago. Just Pepper says, Debbie, very sadly, no. Serenity Track says, I'm just here for the secondhand verbal abuse. Let's see. Amy said he must have been 100% sure she would have turned him into the police. Just Pepper says, Debbie, I learned that from my echo. We got that. Liza, yes, mental abuse is harder to figure out compared to physical. You don't usually figure it out until you realize your boundaries are gone. You're in the rewatch crew, Liza. Liza said that Just Pepper, I bet you could spot one a mile away now. Okay. W2 Scooter said he's so wasting his breath trying to make her understand what it's like to be a normal person. Okay. So, wow, that's a lot. So he told her she was a narcissist. She told her mother. Her mother said, oh, Kenzie, you're not a narcissist. You just need to work a little bit on your compassion, honey. You're fine. You just need to get just a little more compassion for others, dear. You're fine. Wow. She must be going crazy. Can you imagine? But I want to know if they're like in Florida. That's so weird. So weird. So I did pretty good on that round. You know, it would be nice to have like a stand with I didn't have to hold my iPad up because my hands actually go to sleep and stuff, and it's like so weird. It'd be nice to have like a telescoping stand. I could just have it in front of me and go like that. That'd be nice. That'd be nice. So happy we're out. We're out where? Oh, you're out of that. Just Pepper, it took me 10 years. Very, 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 yes, easy to spot. Men are easy to spot, women are sneaky. Uncrimey says, you have stayed up so many late nights reading these messages. If you need to go to sleep, take a nap. We won't break up with you. Hi, Lex. I made it. Just catching up from last night. So many texts. I know, Lex. Hi, Val. I'm going to do one more bout, Uncrimey. I don't know how long it's going to be, but I'm going to give it one more before we break, okay? I'm going to give it one more. So we just start one more run. I don't know I can't promise how long it's going to run, okay? She says, I'm done, he says. And there you go again. There you go again. You act like I'm the problem when I'm just pointing out something that I want you to change. When I clearly said, I'm not calling you a narcissist, I'm saying what you said is. She said, Right now, you are the problem. I've been showing my mom this whole convo. I'm telling my mom on you. She agrees with me. End this relationship. Okay, I'm just pointing out black and white facts. Your mom wants us to break up anyway. She says, my mom does not want us to break up. I don't know where you're getting that information from. Well, let's just see that, Kenzie. I've been showing my mom this whole convo. She agrees with me and this relationship. He's probably getting it from there, but, I could be wrong. She says, and I'm just pointing out the black and white facts as well. I would answer right now if I were you, because I'm getting really effing over this BS. He says, you keep saying I'm calling you a narcissist when I was just saying what you said or do is. And I don't know about that. She says, you're more of a narcissist than me. I shouldn't be scared of you when you're mad. Oh boy, how you're a peach when you're mad, right? I'ma get a bat, pull up on you, break all your windows, I'll catch a felony, I'll tase him, I'll kill that person. Come on. Such a sweetheart. No, I'm not at all, actually. I say I'm sorry all the time. I admit when I'm the problem. She says, after I tell you to, your apologies mean nothing, and you know that. He says, I don't say other people are the problem when they confront me. She says, well, since we're talking about problems, let's just bring them all up. Okay, change the subject. I'm done with this. When you can respond to me and not be some type of meme, we can talk. No, I'm telling you to end this relationship. I've been wasting my time with you all day, and you've just been a complete a-hole, she says. He says, no, I haven't. I said things that I have a problem with, and you've only had bad things to say back. And I'm just pointing them out. I'm not being an a-hole at all. If he says, if you want me to end it so bad, you end it. Because I'm just asking you to change some things for me. If you're not willing to try, then you end it. She says, are you trying to belittle how I feel? Dom, end this relationship. She says, are you trying to turn it back on me now after I told you to end it? You have such a problem. He says, I can't end it. I love you. I want things to work out. She said, I think that I'm not going to change for you. He says, I just want to change some things. She said, you're not going to chase me. I'm not changing. He says, I don't want you to be mean like that. She says, and I don't want a boyfriend who just FaceTimes his girlfriend Blair all day and doesn't chase. He says, I can constantly chase you, but not when you push me away. That's when it becomes a toxic situation and you're in charge of it. That's just toxicity waiting to happen. She says, I'm not changing if you're not going to chase. Thanks for wasting my day because I wanted to go to Whole Foods. Thank you so much for trying to hurt me all day. Thank you very, very much. Okay. I will never forget what you said to me about modeling. And you're never coming to one of my shoots ever again. Should have known you were a evil eye. He says, I was just trying to ask you to stop hurting me. I said that off the top of my head. I don't care about that, and it shouldn't be taken seriously. This is the mean behavior I'm talking about. I'm not the problem till I say you're the problem. Isn't that narcissistic to not care how I feel, she says? He says, I wasn't saying that. He says, you know what? I'm just not going to point it out because you probably don't even care. and we'll just say I'm the problem or something. She says, you're a problem every single day. End this relationship or get over it. I'll change if you do. Honestly, this whole conversation is giving you just want to argue. He said, you're all over the place. I'm not responding to any of that. She says, if you start chasing, I will start changing too. He says, if you want me, you will change what I asked and understand it. If you don't want to do that, then I guess we'll break up. I can't chase if you run. She says, I don't give a single F at this point. You've been annoying the F out of me all day. Good to know, she says. I think we should end this relationship. She says, I know 1 million people that would chase me, even if I was on an airplane going 1 million miles per hour. It's sad because I thought it would be you too, but I guess you're too lazy and comfortable. And eventually they're going to get tired and all leave, he says. She says, no, they're not. He says, that's not how it works. She says, so I'm going to give you one last chance to start chasing. And in return, I'm going to change for you as well. But if you can't do that, then this relationship is over. She says, you just drain all the positive energy out of everybody around you. Stop projecting your childhood problems onto me, she says. He says, wow, I'm done pointing it out. Just wow. When you can text me like a normal person, I guess we'll talk about us. Till then, I don't know. I'm not talking to you. She says, we were fine this morning. You hit your head on my car, and then you've just been mean to me all day, like to do the switch flip when you hit your head on something. He says, this has been a problem. I've been pointing it out for a while, not narcissists specifically, but your lack of compassion towards anyone. She says, I'm done. You're slow as F. Dead arse, end this. Right now. Right now. Right now. He says, I've never been mean to you, only have told you how I feel, how I've felt. And when you've decided to make me feel what you decided to make me feel like. She says, right now, 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 right now. Oh my gosh, she sounds like such a little kid. Right now, infinity. Why doesn't she just do that? And then just, right now, infinity. Come on. Right now, end this right now, end this right now, end this right now. If you're not going to chase, then I don't want to be in this. You wasted my whole day. Oh my gosh, she is unbelievable. Trying to diagnose me, shite on my modeling. You're a terrible person. And this is all because you hit your head on my car. Honestly, embarrassing as F for you. You're acting immature and childish as F. Oh my gosh, to be honest, I don't care what the F you think of me at this point, because clearly you don't even know me at all. I never thought you would ever talk to me like this or say the things like this, but I guess you did wonder what the F happened when you hit your head. It must have been hard as F. Then she says, like, F, if I knew you were going to be mean to me all day, I would have just taken you to the ER for your head right away. I'm not being mean, he says. I'm just pointing out how you're mean to me. I shouldn't have even responded. For real, I'm not talking to you till you can show me some type of effort and change. She says, you're not getting effort or change, so end the relationship. She says, if you're not going to chase me and show me that you want to be with me, then I'm not going to do anything for you. I am seriously so effing glad we did not have sex today. My angels had my back this morning. That's what I thought, she says. I love how you care so much about wasting time, yet you have just wasted my whole day where we could have had fun together, but you wasted it. What is it going to be? I would answer right now or I'm going to block you. You have 3 minutes. I'm starting the timer right now. He says, better to waste one day than to keep wasting them. Sounds like ancient, sounds like the Calgon, right? Text me when you want to show change. She says, are we really going to break up right now? Because I'm not changing. You're going to start chasing and treating me better. Then I'm going to change as well. I want an answer right now. He says, I'm not going to chase. That is only going to make our relationship toxic. I will not. But if you run, she says, so are you going to or are you not going to? You're not making any sense. Then she said, I would be answering fast if I were you. 2 minutes, buddy. But she didn't say buddy, 2 minutes. He says, Kenzie, if you're going to threaten to break up with me and push me away, I'm not going to chase you. She says, you're the only one that's been threatening to break up. And you're the one who's trying to diagnose me. He says, but if you mean it as if I'm going to keep trying every day, like we are not dating yet, then yeah, I'm going to chase. You're also the one, she says, you're also the one and the reason why this fight started. He says, but if you're pushing away, I'm not going to chase. She says, I never push you away. I do not know where you're getting that from. He says, what you mean by chasing then? She says, if I say I'm leaving, I want you to say, no, I want you to tell me to come with you. I want you to just act like we're not dating and still act like you still have to get me. Oh, wow. Okay, cool. She says, you must be so busy. She says, because if I were you, I would be answering in less than 1 minute. He says, I already told you I would chase you if you meant by this. She says, I literally just told you what I meant. Question marks, question mark, question marks. I already told you I would. She says, I also should never have to tell you to apologize. I would be effing answering fast if I were you. I don't know why you're not understanding this. He emphasizes something. Okay, and then she says, okay, 3-minute timer starting now. He said, this is not what we're doing, not responding to those kind of comments. She says, all you need to do is answer fast. I don't know why that's such a problem for you unless you're doing something suspicious. He says, I'm watching basketball with my mom. She says, another thing that you're supposed to do that you stopped is telling me that you're not cheating on me every day, and you've obviously stopped doing that for some reason too. He says, it's over now. She says, I don't care that you're with me every day. If you want to cheat, you will find time. What the F are you not answering fast? Question mark. Dude, WTF, last chance. He said, I'm not answering because you're just trying to bring up random old shite that wasn't a problem till I brought this up. I told you, show me change and I'll talk to you. I'll talk to why? You. Oh, so that's how it's going to be. So you're not going to chase. He says, she said, I'm going to block you in 5 minutes. So I would literally fix things right now. I will be I would be answering fast if I were you. You are making this so bad for yourself. He said, that's not what you said by chasing. I'm not talking to you till you're done trying to attack me. She says, answering fast is a part of chasing. If you were trying to get me, you would be answering that. I'm not attacking you at all now. He says, if you wanted to change, you would have said your last 20 messages differently. She says, if you were going to chase, you wouldn't have sent your 20 messages differently. Should we just break up? I'm done with this, she says. You don't treat me like a girlfriend, and you have been mean to me for 2 days straight. He says, I wasn't mean to you at all today. I just told you how I feel about how you act towards me. She says, no, you try to diagnose me. You shite on my modeling and then wasted my whole day. That doesn't change the fact that you were mean to me yesterday, too. So maybe we should just end this relationship because clearly this isn't going anywhere and you're not giving an F. And he said, no, I wasn't. I was asking you, and you keep bringing that part up. When I said I thought of that in 10 seconds and I'm disregarding it. And you said, and you started the fight and I fixed it. I wasn't mean yesterday either. You were provoking me. She says you did not fix it. And she says, I was not provoking you yesterday either. He says, then shading me. She said, the fight is not fixed. You clearly do not give an F and you're not going to change. He says, you're trying to just put it on me like I'm done with this. I'm actually done texting you now till you stop the BS. I'm not giving in anymore. You're not going to threaten me and make me text back. You want anything from me, show me you're trying to change, not trying to prove I'm the problem or something. She says, if this isn't resolved tonight, then we are breaking up. I'm sorry, but I can't deal with this anymore. That's literally not a threat. I'm just telling you how I feel. He says, what you want me to resolve, I've been asking you to change, and you've only got mad. If you didn't resolve this, then we're done. He says, so show me you're trying to change, I guess. And if you don't, then I guess you're going to have to break up with me tonight. She says, I can't effing show you that. I'm going to change in one day. It's going to take time to show you anything. You have to start chasing right now. And clearly you're not doing that. I will literally break up with you at 12 if this is not fixed. He says, show me you're trying. You're obviously not, so pick your choice. She says, can you effing read? The change you want is not going to happen overnight, and I'm asking for you to chase, and you have not done that since you said you were going to. Like I said, this relationship is not effing working. I have been sitting here arguing with you all day, wasting my life on you. He says, wow, okay. Let me know when you want to try. She says, and you're so worried about empathy, but yet you haven't shown any today. She said, I swear this is not going to end well if this isn't fixed. If you have been let me see. You have been terrible all effing day and making me regret everything. He says, because you've only tried to take shots at me all day and turn the argument on me. She said, like I said, for the third time now, I can't show you change tonight. You're going to have to wait until an altercation comes up to show compassion. What did I see? Hold on. There's something weird up here. New tools. Okay. So, hey, Abuelita's journey, how are you? Abuelita's journey, grandma's journey. See, aren't you impressed with me? Um, how are you doing, Abuelita? Have you been following this case? Do you follow a lot of true crime? I'm glad you found us. You know Pepper? Oh, hello, Abuelita. You know, oh, look, Pepper brought a friend in. Pepper gets a gold star. Hi, Pepper. Um, where is Pepper? Good night, Denise. Denise, you're going to bed? Love you, Scooter. Have sweet dreams. Night. I'm gonna shut my eyes. Ha ha. Night, night, Carolyn. Love you. Love you too, Denise. Have a good night. Hello, Sassy. Val Ventura says you're going to have to let her grow up and be with other guys to see change. Okay. So yeah, she's just going back and forth with this narcissistic. Yeah, nobody forgets, Sassy. Why do you say people forget? I don't understand why you're saying that. These are texts between Dom and Kenzie. She is lucky she didn't end up dead. He would have gotten off with a slap on the wrist. So yeah, it's just crazy. It just goes back and forth, back and forth. I'm surprised they don't go on a big break, you know? You know? She doesn't, I'm just surprised she doesn't, she thinks so many guys are after her so that like there's not one guy that she want, but who's gonna give her what he does, you know? She'd have to go with a real, like she said, she'd have to be a sugar baby, but she doesn't want to do the stuff they would want her to do. So she's not going to have a cushy deal like this where she's not, you know, she's just getting everything paid for. And, you know, I don't know. I know you're still there, Scooter. I know. I know you are. But I think I'm going to do the word game. And because it's been, let's say, 11:45, 12:45. It's almost been 3 hours. It's been after 2 hours. You're threatening the chat if they don't say hi back to you. Oh, you're a goddess. You want to be treated like the goddess that you are. You're no quitter either. Debbie's to Scooter. No quitter club. We're in the no quitter club. No quitters. Scooter, I might have to go on location. I might have to go follow a crime, Scooter, to Edisto. I might have to do it. Linda said she might have to come along. Someone's got to take, she thinks she's going to take notes. I don't know. Okay. Hi, beautiful Debbie. Hi, beautiful Debbie. Debbie to Scooter. So I come and listen, relaxing. Hello, Abuelita. Carolyn is the marathon queen and best a motor. Oh, thank you. Hi, Heart Made Wise. Because she is driving him crazy, Amy said. That's what I meant. Carolyn, I'm going to email you. Read it tomorrow if you get a chance. I will try, yes. Hi, Abuelita's Journey. How come Debbie's beautiful, Abuelita? Do you know Debbie too? Good night, Liza Ann. Sweet dreams to you. Why would a guy want to spend his money and time on an energy vampire? Did Dom's parents think that something was wrong with Kenzie before the accident? Somehow, I don't think they liked her too much. Well, I will tell you when they did the, oh, everybody's beautiful in the chat, but Abuelita's not saying hi to me. Abuelita, you don't like me? Why not? Let me see here. I'll tell you, Val, when they did the notification, the mother said, Christine said, I didn't like the way she drove. I remember the day she was backing out of the driveway or something like that. And the father said something about it like that too. I know in her interview, she said like, Kenzie didn't lift a finger, Dawn would cook, but she wouldn't even lift a finger to clean any dishes or anything. I think she was trying not to get, yeah, but everybody got a personal one, Abuelita, but not me. I'm over here. I'm over here reading my butt off. I'm just goofing with you, Abuelita. Anyway, yeah, I think that they didn't like the way she treated him, but I don't think he was completely honest, like, oh, there, thank you, beautiful Abuelita. Thank you, Abuelita, thank you for that. I had a fear of missing out. I had a fear of missing out. Well, what can I say? I've had a little bit of missing out on a sleepover a long time ago. Missing out. Anyway, yeah, I think that Dom probably didn't let them know. I'm sure his mother didn't know what this girl was texting. Okay. And I think she was probably like, I mean, I don't know about you, but it's like your kid gets a girlfriend or a boyfriend or whatever. You don't want to be a meddling person because it's not your relationship. I mean, if you're not seeing red flags where like somebody's being really harsh to your child, you like try not make waves and you try to, get along and do things unless, like I said, they're like you see some really damaging behavior. And I don't think they saw a lot of the damaging behavior, but then the mother saw that thing on the highway and she said, I told them no arguing in the car, no fighting in the car. So I think it was getting probably, she was seeing more of Kenzie being erratic, okay? But she also saw that probably that he was in love with her. And, I don't know. Yeah, I'm sure she saw there's red flags. Yeah, red flags. But, I don't know what it would be like if she demanded, like, you're going to break up with her right now, Dom. I don't know what that would be like. Thank you, Abuelita. I appreciate that. Thank you, Abuelita. You're beautiful too, Abuelita. Thank you. You're a beautiful person for saying that. Thank you. Yeah, Pepper says exactly, Carolyn. I truly believe Dom's mom would have done something if she really knew what Kenzie was doing to Dom. Yeah, she might have thought like, I don't think she could grasp that the extent of what it was. I just don't think she could. You know, she probably thought, okay, mm, she's young. Maybe she thought, oh, she's young. She's 17. She's got a lot of growing up to do. I don't know. It's difficult, right? But you know what time it is? It's time to play our word game before we go to sleep. But yeah, I mean, and I have all those phone calls, and if you missed the explanation on the phone calls, they're going to be put up in volumes of 8. The first one was up today and put second volume up tomorrow. Those will be just run as premieres like somewhere in the day. So if you need to hear that, Miss Russo did mention all that theory count. Yeah. Miss Russo did mention all that. Yeah, I've listened to her interviews and I've heard all that. She's that poor woman, okay? The way they informed that poor woman that her son was deceased was absolutely unconscionable. It was. I mean, it was just so bad. I don't even know why they had the chaplain there, because he didn't even say anything. I think the worst thing is that she was the one that hugged them at the end when they were leaving. They were just like, oh, can we do anything? Bye. Good night, Twisted. And yeah, in her interview, exactly, Abuelita. Yeah, I have her interview here up on the channel. But yeah, then she was like, oh, wait a minute. And she gave them a hug. And that was just so heartbreaking, that they didn't even say a prayer with her or hug her. And then she just, hug them. That was such a horrible thing. It really was. And Just Peppers as a parent doesn't always know until they know. No matter how much you think you know and try to, right. We don't know everything. Of course, our kids protect us from a lot of stuff. Even there's a lot of parents that think they know everything that goes on in their kid's life, and they don't. They don't. I once worked with this lady. My kids are much younger, but she's like, I know everything that's happening like in her 16-year-old daughter's life. And this one lady says, I guarantee you don't know what's happening every single thing. She's like, no, I do. And she's like, I guarantee you don't. And we're just going back and forth. But yeah, you may think, but a lot of parents would be like really surprised, simmer down, simmer it down. And rise up. Very good, guys. Very good. And rhyme. Myers. Oh, there's our murder of crows. There's the murder of crows. Immerse. Very good, murder. Very good. Serenity, good job for you too, jumping in. I think I tried that heart. Oopsie, whoopsie. Oh, I thought I did try that heart. I don't know what I was doing. Strange. Strange. See. Oh, and seam. How about seam? Right? And sir and sire. W2 Scooter, there she is. Oh, you're melting. She's melting for you. And look at Abuelita coming right in on it. Very good, Abuelita says rims. See, Abuelita, isn't this fun? We always do this at night to get our mind clear. Good job jumping in, Abuelita. Eerie, Abuelita says. Let's see, Abuelita. Nope. Good try, though. Ire. Yeah, ire. There we go. And let me give it a spin. And we have another S here, so it has to be S. Oh, what about seer? Right? And then we have a one up there above mimes, which is going to be, could it be, oh, could it be, no. Mir. So, okay, let me see. Yes, there you go, murder. You love this, Abuelita? It is fun. We do it every night. We do it every night after our live, when it's over. We do it every night to clear our heads. It's our head clearing word game. Okay, you said mirror. I think I tried that heart. Yeah, I did. And mirrors. Okay. And mirrors. All right. And so then we have it can't be. Let me see if it's going to be. Would it be that? No. What about iris? We can't do iris. Did we we try that? Mirror. There we go. Just Pepper says, Abuelita, really glad you're here and found Carolyn. She's really cool. Thank you, Just Pepper. We do a lot here, Abuelita. We don't just do true crime. We do crafts. Sometimes we do live selling. And if anybody, that goes for anybody new, if you're here, if any of you make crafts, if any of you have things you want to sell, okay, you can come on here and sell your things. If you ever want to do that, you can try to do that if you want to. And we have a lot of crafters on here. Sometimes they sell things they make. Sometimes they sell things they collect. Sometimes they specifically go out and look for things to sell, and all of that's okay. We like to give back and like to help people, make some extra money and, not have to pay a lot of fees and jump through a lot of hoops like you have to do it on eBay and stuff. So yeah, so if anybody wants to come there, think about that as we go closer to the holidays. And then people could support people in our community that are selling things, and especially, there's some nice things. So yeah. So we do that stuff, and sometimes especially I'll do some cooking or baking mostly, and towards the holidays, sometimes we have some cookie baking. One time we even had an online, a live cookie baking where there were a bunch of people baking cookies, different cookies. And I like to do stuff like that. And then try to have online crafting. You need a good soap person. What kind of soap do you like? I have a good friend of mine she's always sending me this soap. It's really nice. You're a crafter of Native American jewelry. Well, look at that. Look at that. You might have to come up and show off your stuff. But Hot Mess, my friend is always saying she wants me to deal with this person and to sell the soap. And it's really not, it's really nice soap. And that's Sandra. You know Sandra, right? But she sends me this soap, and I guess it's a local person in North Carolina. I can tell you about it. Yeah, it's very nice. Goat milk soap, and I believe that's what this is. And it comes in really great like I don't want to say flavors, but scents. I think I did a Happy Mail opening of it. I'll ask for more information. Proud of you, Carolyn, for sticking it out. And it's starting to really show. I'm no quitter, Amy. I'm no freaking quitter. Thank you, Evelita. So, yeah. So look for us tomorrow. I might put up a short. My son saw a coyote in a field. He took, oh yeah, we still do watch movies. You're right, Amy. Abuelita over here, listen to this. Yeah, thank you, Amy. We'll go into a Zoom and we watch documentaries or movies, and you can come in into the Zoom and watch them. Yeah, we have to do one, a movie. Somebody gave me, oh, my son said he watched a movie, not a documentary on Ed. He's a serial killer, but he's not a serial killer. They, Psycho was based on him, and so was Texas Chainsaw Massacre. What is it? Is it Gein? He said he just saw a documentary on Netflix about him. It was very good. And yes, Heart Made Wise. Yes. So yeah, that and another one that a lot of people is that Unknown Number. Okay, about that teenage couple that was like stalked with text, and it was something else. Oh, he's talking about Monster. Is that what it is? It's like different episodes? Because he was telling me on the way to apple picking. We're going apple picking. We're talking about true crime. Yeah, we do a lot of stuff here, Abuelita. A lot of different stuff here. You never know. We use like a box of chocolate over here. Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay, hot mess. Yeah, I forget what he was telling me. He said like they called him a serial killer, but he really wasn't a serial killer. And he's like he only killed two people, but he had other things that he did. Oh, was that the one that did and then okay, he killed his mother. No, I thought he only killed two though, Hart. I don't know. Michael was telling me he killed two and then he dug a lot of people up and he dug his mother up and he put her in the rocking chair. He lived in a scary big white house, and the cops said it was stinky, and he made a skin suit, yeah. I don't know. That's not what Michael said, but I don't know if we're talking about the same thing. I wonder why they were all named monsters. I don't know. Now you're making me want to look up how many he killed. That's good. I don't know. The unknown number is disgusting, right? And she should have. Well, can I ask you something? Okay, Abuelita, you watched that, obviously, right? Let me ask you something, because I'm asking everybody who has watched this. And so far, I should have asked my son about this. I'm not getting a lot of answers. Did you see on the end of that, Abuelita? It's at the very end of it when they're having people come up, and then there's this couple, and it's the woman and her husband, and they're talking about the case, okay? And they say, I have to say something, and I'm not going to hold my tongue, they said. And the woman says, if it wasn't, she says something like, okay, let me think how she says. Yeah, Ed Kemper, right. She says, let me think how she words it. Something like, if it wasn't for this, the husband and the daughter would have walked off like they were victims. And she says it, and they like don't elaborate on it. So then I'm thinking that that woman is thinking not only was the mother in on the whole thing, that the daughter and the husband were also in on it. All three were in on it. And I have to say, and I have talked with a few people that saw this, the daughter's reaction when she finds out the mother is the person that's been doing this to her. And if you guys don't know, and it's really not spoiling a lot because they tell you right early on, his daughter's going out with a guy. They're like 17. Maybe they were younger when they started. And the daughter starts getting these horrible texts like, you're ugly. He doesn't like you. You know, how could you think he's interested in you? Just like horror. And they get really, really sexual in nature, really sexual in nature. And then even when the couple breaks up, the teenagers, the girl's mother still goes to the kids' ball games and everything. It's on Netflix, Amy. Do you have Netflix? But listen, here's the thing. This went on for a long time. The daughter was traumatized by it. One day, the cops figure out that it's the mother, and they go to the house and they see the mother and they tell her, like, hey, do you have a thing for this kid or what? Because we know it's you. We know it's you. She doesn't fight it at all. And they said, do you want to tell your daughter? And she's like, yeah. Her daughter literally comes in. They live on a lake, okay? And I think they have a second house. She comes in with like this towel wrapped around, and the cops tell her, like, your mother's the one that's been doing this. Now you tell me what kind of a normal reaction. The daughter's like, oh, and then the mother's all over kissing her head. That literally is the daughter's reaction. Mm. 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 Now, I'm sorry, but if you knew how disgusting the texts were, how are you not saying, like, my mother? My mother? Like, my mother wouldn't do that. That was disgusting. That person that was saying the most disgusting. That's not my mother. But she wasn't. And it's whacked. It's whacked. And so then you think, like, was the daughter somehow in on it? Was this like I don't know. Something's whacked. That reaction, you can't tell me. You watch that reaction of the daughter. It is the most unnatural reaction you have ever seen. Why did her mom do that? Wow, I didn't know my mom knew stuff like that. Why did her mom do that? Wow, didn't know my mom knew stuff like that. Oh, I don't know, heart, in shock. Even if you're in shock, you'd be like, no, no, it couldn't be my mom. Of how her husband said, bye, Felicia. I don't know, Abuelita, it's so weird. There's something so weird. And you know what? The mother looks like somebody. I don't know if it's somebody I know in my life or but like the mother looks like someone, but she looks like a little church woman, like who wouldn't say anything. So crazy. But I'm sorry, that woman says something at the end, and she says if it wasn't for this, the father and daughter would go off and act like they are victims. And and then the guy next to her goes like this, yeah. And it's very chilling, and there's no explanation. Yeah, she told her own daughter to do that, Abuelita, but she's like, oh, my daughter would never do that. And I was consoling her as her mother on this side. You can't leave us. She said she was giving him until midnight to give her the answer she wanted to know. What? Keep reading just a little bit. Well, I might read a little bit. I don't know, because you guys got me up a little bit. Maybe I'll read 5 more minutes, but then nobody will know that I'm reading, and they'll think it's over and they won't watch anymore. Then they'll all be lost. That won't be fair to them, though. I think her mom told her before the police came. I don't know. Listen, anybody that has a daughter, a lot of people know, like, just because sometimes the daughters, especially that age, they'll butt heads with the mother or whatever. I think if a daughter is to find out that her mother is behind that horrificness, that she's going to have a reaction. Sharp Objects. I think I saw, is Sharp Objects the one that has Nicole Kidman and Drew Barrymore? And I saw the first season, May, of that. Okay, you know what I'll do? Like, what did she say to her? Terrible things. The mother said the most horrible things and stuff that's like so grossly sexual about like how she can't satisfy the boyfriend and she would. It was horrible, horrible. Yeah, Mindhunter, just Pepper. Yeah, they have more. Repeat, replay. Yeah, it's gross. I just watch it, like the daughter just basically, and then the mother's like hugging her, and believe me, like, come on, your reaction would be like, Mom, like, no, this is not true. Tell them this is not true. It's so disgusting. You would never want to think your mother is sending that stuff to you. I just wish more people watched it because it's so gross. And I'm sorry, I think the daughter, I don't know why, it just, the reaction is crazy. Amy Adams. Yeah, it's just not the reaction. Like, you'd be like, oh my gosh, mom, are you kidding me? That can't be. My mother would not say that stuff. How could you do, like, there was nothing. There was like, she was reactionless. It was, I don't know. Yeah, but Valerie, this is the girl finding out. I'm sorry. It's so crazy. And then the cops are even like, come on, you have a thing for this guy, right? They're telling the mother, you have a thing for this guy. It's so gross. It's so gross. It's just disgusting. She said she let the other girl take the blame too. Yes, right, Razzie. Exactly. But you guys, please go back and just watch the end. I don't know what their name is. The guy's got dark hair, if I remember it. They're sitting at a table, and the woman says it. It's towards the very end, right before they show like the father and daughter playing ball. It's at the very end, and she says something like, I can't just let him and her go off and play themselves as if they're victims or something to that effect. And then the guy next to her goes like this, yeah. But it's so aggravating because the daughter, her reaction is not, there's no shock. There's no, the mother's just hugging her and the daughter's just, mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. She's not saying like, no, it can't be. How? What are you talking about? How could this be my mother? My mother wouldn't do that. My mother was consoling me. My mother would never do something like that. Do you know what this person said? I mean, come on. Just not going to go, oh, it's my mom? All right, yeah, yeah. All right, you want me to call my dad? Okay, yeah. It was crazy. She could have been truly stunned. But even if you're stunned, you're going to be like, no, no, you know, there's, like, no, no. She wasn't even like that. Girl who was to blame for it. And how did she not know? Yeah, something is wacky. It's called unknown number, Amy. It's called unknown number. We were watching it in here once. I think Hart and I were watching it in here. Didn't we watch it, you and I, Hart? It's crazy, but I just cannot get out what that woman says at the end. And I don't know how they just gave it like a blip. Very, very crazy. I agree with you. And at the same time, I'm trying to piece her reaction together. Yeah. she just didn't say anything. Like, shake your head or be like, no, what? You know, like, what? My mother. You know, that would be so crazy. Just think about it, that you've been tortured for how long was it? And your mother's consoling you through this. She said her mother was telling her, like, oh my gosh, you know, you're beautiful. Don't let this get to you. This is horrible. Why is she, you know? And then you're going to tell me that the cops come in and say this person that's been tormenting you is your mother. You know? And you're not going to be like, get out of here. Where are you guys coming with this? You know, you do, what are you doing? It's not my mother. My mother's been consoled. My mother's the reason I got through this, you know, 2.5 years. Yeah. And all of a sudden it's like, oh no, it's your mother. I don't know. Yeah, it's just I wish you guys would watch it. Maybe we can watch it and do it as another movie night if you want. But you see the end, and Murder of Crows, they kind of give another reason why the mother did it, but it almost sounds like, and they do say that, somebody does say they think the mother's reason that she gave is BS. And it's like she just latched onto it. But did the judge even say that she thinks that's BS? I don't know. It's really bizarre. It's really bizarre. And I have to say, the girl will probably need less therapy, if I think, if she was in on it rather than if her mother really did that to her. I don't know. She needs it either way, but I don't even know. Don't even know. But anyway, we will get back together tomorrow, God willing, and I'll put another volume of the calls up tomorrow. But thank you guys. Thank you for the discussion, and we'll have to have a movie night here soon. I'm having maybe tomorrow, maybe what's tomorrow? May death, maybe grandma died when I was 7, and to know that hurts me, I go silent. It's hard for me to express verbally. Yeah, but still, I understand that, but just her reaction is just, you'd probably like, and you wouldn't want that person all over you, like kissing you and hugging you, and you'd be repulsed by them. Even if you were, you'd be like, just stop touching me. Like, whoa, I don't know. Something is so off. Yeah, something is really off. But yeah, maybe tomorrow is Tuesday. There's so much stuff. Yeah. Maybe we can do it tomorrow. I have to get my code for Netflix. And so we'll do that. We'll try maybe to do a movie night tomorrow. I don't know if we'll do that one. We can vote on it. All right. But I love you guys. God bless, prayers, and I'll see you tomorrow. Yeah, she probably was hurt. Prayers for whatever your needs are. God knows them, and I hope that everyone gets help with whatever they need. So we all need help some way. And love you guys. Be good, be kind. I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for everybody for hanging out with us. And I'm sorry there to our friend that wants me to read on, but I think we'll wait till tomorrow. It's not going to be, it's not that many hours. All right. Love you guys. Be good. Let me see.